Welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. On the podcast, we'll talk to experts on everything from Thomasville history and events to daily operations and city business, all while having some fun in the process. We're your hosts.
I'm Austin Reams.
And I'm Tara Pearson. Welcome to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. I'm Tara Pearson, Public Information Officer. So Austin, it's March. Are you a big March Madness fan?
I am. I'm not as into college basketball as I once was, but I do kind of pick up interest in this time of year just to see all the craziness and buzzer beaters and all the fun. So it is a lot of fun to watch basketball this time of year.
It is. I was listening on the news this morning that there was a college that is actually thinking about joining the union.
Yes.
So that was really interesting this morning. So I'm intrigued to see where that goes.
Yeah, that's an Ivy League school that's trying to unionize their basketball team, which is kind of funny to me because not too many pros come out of Ivy League. No offense to all the Harvard fans that we have out there, but not too many pros come from there. So that was an interesting move by, I can't remember what Ivy League it was, but anyway.
Right, but it was a real interesting move, especially at the beginning of March Madness. So we'll see how that turns out, how that plays out.
But speaking of professionals, introduce the professionals for us today, Tara.
I sure will. Today we have none other than Lee Thomas. Lee Thomas, he is our Landfill Superintendent. He's been with the organization for over 25 years. I can't even imagine if I've ever been in one place that long. So I know he is a professional in his field. And we also have LaTravis Jones, who's been with the team for 4 years now, and he's been putting in so much work. Lee, I'm gonna throw something at you. I heard you just purchased a new hot rod, a Mustang?
Oh, yeah.
How'd that go for you?
Well, my wife says it's a middle-age thing. I don't know.
You got a crisis that you need to talk to
well,
us
yeah,
about?
I told her we do get EPA vouchers with the city. So, I mean, if she's thinking that I'm leaning that way, I mean, she says that it doesn't matter how hard I try, that the car is jet black, but my hair never will be again.
Just be glad you got it.
Right, exactly. So, yeah.
Travis, you didn't get one either, did you?
No, I don't have a hot rod, but I have a Tinker Toy. I have a 1990 Dodge D150 pickup truck that I like to work on and tinker around with myself and try to do as much as I can to it.
Okay,
that's
on Sunday
awesome.
ride.
All right, we learned something new today.
Yeah, we're car people.
That's right.
That's right. Well, hey, we've got a lot of questions. This is going to be our trashy episode. We're going to talk a lot of trash today. It's about the only thing I am good at. But, there's always a lot of questions. You guys are one of the this department is one of those front-facing departments that's vital. If you guys don't do your job well, everybody within the City of Thomasville government hears about it. And you guys do. You guys do an awesome job. And so we're really glad to be talking about that. There's a lot of changes in our solid waste and landfill department. So what are some of the recent ordinances and things like that are changing? And let's talk about those. Lee, we'll go with you first and then LaTravis there.
Well, some of the ordinances that's changed downtown is this dumpster placement. You might have noticed that downtown we've put in a lot of what we call vertipacks, which is a combined dumpster. A lot of your downtown merchants now are doing shared dumpsters to where it used to be open 6 or 8 yard dumpsters. Mm-hmm. Now you have an 8-yard dumpster, which is the vertipack, that's dumped instead of, say, if you had a business that was being dumped, say 3 times a week. Now this dumpster is being shared with 2 neighbors and it's being dumped every day. So that's one of the main key things. And you might have seen a lot of congestion coming out from downtown, which means there's not as many of the as the green, brown dumpsters that you see in downtown. You might have seen not as many in a parking lot, but you see this vertipack. And that was one of the key things is to try to lessen the
more parking
congestion.
Downtown,
exactly.
Right?
Yes. Downtown Thomasville is especially this time of year, getting close to our road show parade and all. This time of year, spring, Thomasville is a beautiful place, and a lot of people starts coming and visiting. So that really helped us there. So.
Yeah, and also like Lee was saying, it did eliminate the having the green cans downtown, having to pull those cans out to the sidewalk, which kind of made it a little dangerous when people was trying to pass by. Our drivers don't have to walk all the way up in there to pull the cans out to the road anymore. We have it's 8 different locations that we have either a dumpster or a compactor, like Lee said, a Vertipack, which is shared by multiple people, multiple businesses downtown.
Right.
Yeah.
So with the not only did we have some positive changes with our solid waste services downtown, we also have some expansion, or there's been some expansion out at the landfill and different things going on out there. So tell us about those new updates out there.
There has. The end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024 brought many changes to the landfill. For any patrons that's been out there with us for several years, you'll know as needed, we dig what is considered cells to place more waste in. Started in July of 2023 with a cell 5B expansion, which will give us more room for that. But not only that, we had to install a gas well flare system, which we already had in place since 2011, but instead of being a voluntary system now, it's a mandatory system, which means that it falls under federal regulations, which kind of gives you a little sense of knowing that it's not just a hole in the ground anymore like it used to be.
It's very, very complicated.
Very
now.
complicated and very, very much looked at,
Yeah.
which means that we have to turn a report in, not to the federal government, to say, hey, we're in compliance. We don't have any gas leaking off this hill. We don't have anything getting in the atmosphere that shouldn't be there, which is just another safety area, really, for anyone that just thinks that it's a hole in the ground. Not anymore. Not anymore. We've came a long way since then.
And that's a lot of paperwork you have to do
That's
now.
an awful lot of paperwork. That's what I tell people all the time. We have one room dedicated in our scale house out at the landfill that is dedicated to nothing but water wells, gas wells, and just files on top of files from as far back as 1974, which is when the landfill moved into where it is now. So if it's happened at that landfill, it's on file. And you can see how it's evolved over the years. So it's really become from a handful of things that we used to have to do till, you've got, I couldn't even start to tell you how many reports that we have to turn into not only the state, but the federal government now. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get back to solid waste. So, and again, to our audience, Lee is over the landfill, and y'all work together in the LaTravis with solid waste. Although you guys are in the same department, kind of work together, and there's a lot of collaboration that you guys do. But LaTravis, for me, I just want to be a good customer. Like I don't want anybody in your staff to laugh at how dumb I am if I put my garbage can out there wrong, which I almost did the other day. Y'all don't tell anybody. I got a new garbage can and I got confused. I almost put the handles facing the street, which would have been a disaster.
Yes.
And you would have been talking about me, but I recovered. But for our residential customers, and tell us how to be a good customer, how to do what we need to do to make sure you guys are efficient.
Most time we recommend to our customers that if there's going to be any problems, go ahead and put your can out the night before. That way, because our trucks don't have a specific time that they come, they start from 7, and it could be any time from 7 till they finish their route that they can come to your area. Because each driver may run one area a little bit different than the other driver. When you put your can out there, to make sure that your can is forward facing to the road and that it is close enough to the curb that the truck can actually reach out and grab it, so that the driver don't have to get out the truck and go pull the can up to the truck. So we recommend that you do put it out close enough for the truck to get it. And again, like I said, make sure it is facing towards the road, the handle's facing towards your house. And the reason we do that, the trucks are designed to dump the can where the mouth opens to the front. Then that way, some of the trucks will tear the lid off if you have it turned the opposite way.
And don't set it next to a light pole or
Yes.
a mailbox,
Mailbox.
or
Right,
a fire
mailbox.
hydrant, or your neighbor's can.
Yes, yes.
We can't pick up to it. I wish we could. I mean, if we could pick up to it one time, we could shorten these routes up a little bit, but we can't pick up to it one time. The guy I'm sitting side by side. absolutely the truck can't get in there. We've seen that on more than one occasion.
Yes.
And seen more than one time that the driver's trying to do what's right and get your can, even though it's obviously close to your mailbox, and up comes the can and off goes the top of your mailbox. That,
Yeah.
any distance, try to keep it, isolated. Try not to, and don't block somebody else's driveway.
Yeah.
Right. And what about the yard trimmings?
Yeah, there's some new ordinances about yard trimmings, and which I heard about this earlier, but just in terms of we're basically going to take yard trimmings to a place to essentially recycle them.
They are being
so it's pretty
recycled.
neat.
Right.
Lee, you want to start with that? Tell us about that.
Well, in October of 2023, we went in partnership with Crowder Excavating out of Tallahassee, Florida. They're well known in the dirt business for construction and all. They have opened up a place out at the Old Clottney River, what we consider out there close to Egg and Butter Road, what we consider the Riverwood area, to where all of our yard trimmings, leaves, limbs, small brush, big brush, all of that has been diverted from our landfill to that area there. And what they do with it there is once they get in an abundant amount, and I mean a large amount, they bring in these chippers, they chip it up, and they actually sell it by the ton to a place in Albany. Right now it's called Albany Green Waste. And from there, they use it as a beneficial fuel for places such as Procter & Gamble, the military base in Albany. So it's very innovative on their end, and we're just a part of it to be able to add to that. Nothing's changed on the customer's end, except for the fact that we do ask you not to mix your loads, not to mix it. If you've got some things that's an old dresser drawer, and you say, well, I'm gonna hide this under there, and he's gonna pick it up before you, and he's not gonna know it. Well, he's gonna see it. But then what you've done now is you've made it to where that load has to come to the landfill instead of having to go to the pit, what we call the Crowder pit,
To get recycled,
Because
yeah.
now it can't be recycled. Now it's got to be landfilled, and all because you just didn't put it to the side. I mean, put it to the side. Don't mix it with your limbs. Paper, large amounts of paper and stuff like that. Keep it at a minimum. Try to keep your piles clean. And we can recycle every bit of that. And what it does, not only for our solid waste department, because like I said, as far as on the customer's end, nothing's changed. They still get the same excellent service that they've always received. It's just the direction that the trucks are going now. Yes. And then we can divert that waste out of the landfill, which two things. Number one, it's going to cause a whole lot of space to be saved at the landfill.
It saves a lot of money that way.
Yes.
And you're right.
Saves a
And
lot of
number
money.
two, it's going to save a whole lot of construction costs, because the slower rate of fill we have, of course, the longer an area lasts. And that's what you want. That's the key thing you want, is for the landfill that you currently have to last as absolute as long as you can possibly get it to.
So it's going to help everybody all around.
It's really a win-win situation, even for the residents, because number one, it keeps everything lower, because the longer you can go without having to construct a cell, then of course the better off you are.
Yeah, so we try to urge our customers, if it's material stuff like paper, stuff that's small enough to fit in your can, put it in your residential garbage can. Stuff like dressers, whatever, any bikes, stuff like that. Now, but just do it separate pile, and we have what we call a one-time pickup, that they can pay a certain amount to have the truck come by. They do most of the one-time pickups on Fridays. Their truck will come by and pick up that pile just for that purpose. It won't be no like you said, any greenery in there, no limbs or anything like
yard
that.
trimming type
No yard trimmings in there, just with the other garbage that you have left.
Okay, so anything outside yard trimmings, there can be a one-time pickup
Yes.
that a citizen could pay for.
Yes, they can
And
call
it could
up.
be those dressers,
Yes.
large items
Yes,
that
they-
you would pick up and take back to the landfill.
They can call down to the solid waste office and talk to our ladies at the office, and they can set them up with that one-time pickup.
And all of these processes and the things that we want our citizens to help us with is located on our website. If they
Yes.
go to the solid waste department section on Thomasville.org. And with our process changes, anything changing on the landfill's end for our merchants? I believe there's an easier process for them too.
There is. For years, as I said, everything was evolving at the landfill, except the way we was able to accept payments. For years and years, we've had two forms of payment, three forms actually. You either set up a landfill account, you paid with a cash, which we really don't recommend, or you paid with a check, which we really don't recommend. So I guess finally they came along there, and I had a guy that really, customer, he's been coming in for years, and he looked at me, he said, I've been coming in here as long as you've been working here, and that's been a long time. I said, yes, sir. He said, the other day I bought some Girl Scout cookies from a little girl in town. I said, yes, sir. He said, I was able to use a debit card to buy Girl Scout cookies on the sidewalk? I said, yes, sir.
Yeah.
He said, you realize we still can't use a debit card at the landfill? I said, yes, sir. He said, we ought to do something about that. So I'm proud to say, and not only am I proud to say, but the scale house attendant is as well, because he's tired of answering that question, that we are in the process now of getting it set up to where we can accept credit cards, debit cards at the landfill.
Thank you, Girl Scouts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it took us
For the inspiration.
Exactly.
Yes,
It took a box of mint cookies to finally get get it drove in our head enough that we could put.
They inspire me too. I'm
Well,
just
well,
saying.
Yeah, in different ways.
Well, they inspire me to jog more.
Yeah, there you
because
go.
I,
They inspire me in different ways.
And I need to, as you can tell, I don't do a whole lot of it now. I do a whole lot more thinking what I should be instead of doing.
So we're adding debit and credit card processing.
We are, which will make it much easier because a lot of times if you're a business owner, especially of construction, let's just use that as an example, and you've got a load of waste going to the landfill. You give the guy that's going to the landfill a $100 bill. Your bill only winds up being $20. We don't keep cash like that on hand at the landfill, so it's hard but there again, we got to accept your cash payment. So I'm running back and forth to the bank continuously for our scale house attendant, trying to keep it going. And now you can just hand your employee your business debit card or whatever, and he's going to get a receipt, bring a receipt back to you, and it's much easier process. And because a lot of people, smaller business, they don't want to set up an account, which that's neither here nor there. That's of course their choice. So.
All right. Well, let's go back to solid waste, and just again, as we love our customers. They do a great job, and a lot of them just want to know how to do best and how to help us be efficient, so we can keep our costs down, and just benefits everybody. Keeps our community clean as well. And I know that solid waste has a lot of pride in our just clean community. One of the most difficult things is just communication, right? When it's a holiday, I mess this up sometimes because I get the wrong days.
Yes.
I'm always messing that up. I'm consistently wrong. It's uncanny. But what's the best way to stay up with you guys as things change, or if there's an issue? How do we hear best from solid waste?
We recommend that they can go to the City of Thomasville Facebook page. Most time they will have it on that page. The Thomasville.org, City of Thomasville website, they will post it on there. And a lot of I guess the holiday magic get out by word of mouth. Most time they can call our offices, and we will tell them.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to do that. Yeah.
What days, what times we're gonna run on, and what days we're gonna be off. But like I said, a lot of it does get out by word of mouth.
Yeah, and I think Tara, you probably can answer this too. Our Facebook page has a lot of quick information.
Yes.
Is that safe to say?
Yeah, you're correct. Our Facebook page will have any and everything that solid waste is doing or needs to relate or communicate to our customers. Our holiday city services are usually sent out in a numerous of ways, not just on social media, but also through press releases.
Yes.
So we use our local media to help us get that word out as well, because you guys service not just Thomasville, you service surrounding counties.
Yes.
So we utilize WPAX to help us get that word out. We utilize the Thomasville.org website. And that's where you'll find most of our up-to-date information. We also utilize our local scroll as well,
Yes.
if there's anything going on for solid waste services. But definitely the City of Thomasville social media Facebook page is where you're going to find accurate information, up-to-date information.
And we know Lee's on Facebook all the time. you know, not at work, obviously. But as soon as you're done with work, you're just
Right,
on
you're
there all the
You know,
time.
my wife told me years ago that the only reason that we still had all the kids was because they didn't stand still, because I would trade them off for something. So I say I'm a marketplace a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, and the kids, fortunately, they've all grown enough now that they can run from me, so I can't trade them off.
We appreciate you guys. But before I wrap up, though, any last things y'all want to get out there? I mean, I know y'all have a lot going on. We can't cover it all, but did we cover everything?
No, one thing I just do want to say, I know we attribute a lot of our success to our drivers. You know, we have a great
Awesome.
great team in our solid waste and landfill. You know, and if it wasn't for our team, you know, none of this would be possible.
You guys are making history.
Yeah,
You have the
yes.
first female
Yes.
foreman
Yes,
in the
we have the
solid waste
first female
department for our
foreman.
organization. So, yeah.
Yep.
most
Yes.
We
definitely.
do.
You
Which
got a
was-
driver that's been there for 40 years?
Yes,
Is that right?
we have
Mr.
43,
Malachi, yeah.
43 years.
He has,
43 years he's been there. And we have a couple of drivers that's 20 plus.
Yep.
You know,
It attests
so-
to the leadership.
Yes, exactly.
And as Travis stated, I mean, you really can't praise the ladies and gentlemen enough within the solid waste and landfill department for the jobs that they do. That I guess, as you know, as corny as it may sound, the unsung heroes behind the truck.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
you see the truck, but if you look through the windshield, you'll see a face.
Yes.
If you're at the landfill, you see a machine running, but look beyond the machine, you'll see a face. You'll see, a husband or a wife or a father. You'll see somebody that's making that happen.
Yes.
That's keeping Thomasville, as it says, beautiful. I mean, years ago, there was we've always had different things on the side of our garbage trucks in
Yes.
town. And one of the biggest things some years ago, I don't know how long ago it was. On the side of our garbage trucks, it had, the city of Thomasville, where roses rain,
Yeah.
And it's true, believe it or not, it's not just a job to the ladies and gentlemen. It's believe it or not, it becomes a passion to say, look how good of a job we've done. So if you see them in public, if you see them out there in the truck, if you want to take a minute to thank them for the service that they do, by all means, it'll make their day, I promise.
Yes. Yeah, they really take
Well,
pride in what
They
they're
do.
doing
They
their
really-
job.
they do.
They
I
take
love it.
pride in it.
Take lots of pride in what they do.
Yeah, and a quick story on that is just, y'all's fearless leader, Jimmy Smith, Jr.
Absolutely.
He wasn't looking for accolades or whatever. We were just in a conversation, and he was saying he saw something on the side of the road. Somebody had dumped a couch on the side of the road. He wasn't working, but because he takes so much
Yeah.
pride of how this community looked, he just picked it up and put it in the back of his truck and
Yes.
and did that. And that's, to me, with solid waste and landfill, y'all pick that leadership up and do a fantastic job. We really appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. By way of announcements, we're celebrating women in leadership all month long. So if you're not following our Facebook and Instagram social media pages, please follow so you can catch all of the great women from the city of Thomasville that we're highlighting. March 18th is Natural Gas Utility Worker Appreciation. So we thank the city of Thomasville's Natural Gas Department. If you see them out working, blow your horns, but don't scare them too much.
Right.
Throw a wave at them and appreciate them. And also, March 18th is also Sparky the dog's birthday. So we're going to celebrate that. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Yeah, and Sparky the dog, he's for the fire.
Correct.
The fire department. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He draws a crowd whenever he's around. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
So
yeah.
March is definitely a month of celebration.
Oh,
Maybe we should get us a mascot like
that's
that.
right.
There you go.
There we go. I like that
dog.
idea.
Yeah.
Dog in a truck too.
Yeah. I'll throw some
I'm
ideas,
thinking more
y'all.
of a
but-
trash can.
Trash can.
Trash can.
Man in a trash can suit.
Yeah,
Oh, like Sesame
So we're
Street.
gonna have
Yeah.
we're gonna end the podcast, but we got some ideas we're gonna throw around for that one. But thank you guys for listening. I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening app.
You've been listening to Thomasville Insights with the City of Thomasville. The show is produced by the City of Thomasville Marketing Department. The show's music is by pond5.com. To learn more about the City of Thomasville, visit thomasville.org or follow us on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening app so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.